this is Amy the Angry Yogi again. Sorry for the delay. I got sidetracked for a couple of days working outside in the yard when the weather was nice, and I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. And then I was planning to send this video out to the world a little earlier today, but you know, it just didn't happen. Childcare didn't work out today. Okay, so this is a restorative class. Prepare to relax and take a moment to find yourself on your mat. Bring your hands to heart center. Start taking a few really deep breaths. Inhale, fill the lungs to capacity. Exhale, push everything out. And continue this. Inhale, we're lifting the arms up high. Keep the shoulders down from the ears. On an exhale, bend the elbows, bringing the palms behind you. And slowly exhale your chin down towards your chest. Inhale, lift the chin, raise the arms. Exhale, bring the palms down to heart center with the elbows wide, pushing the palms together. On the exhale, bring the chin down to the chest. Inhale, come back to neutral. Let's raise the arms up high. Exhale, right palm comes down. We're stretching over to the right side, opening up the left rib cage. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left hand down. We're stretching over to the left, keeping the right hip on the floor. Inhale, rise. On an exhale, twist with your core, bring the hands down, and then gently look over your shoulder. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, turn towards the left with your core. Bring the arms down, gently turn the head over the shoulder. Inhale, rise. Exhale, plant the palms in front of you. We're walking our arms forward until your hips want to come up off the floor. And that's where we melt down. And we wait. We wait for our bodies to relax. We wait for the hips to release. Connect with your breath here. Try to lower your head even lower. Inhale, slide up to center. Exhale, stagger your legs. The right leg is going to bend behind us. Left leg is in front. Inhale up high. Exhale, we're turning with our core towards the left. Bring the palms down. We're stretching here. When you inhale, try to lengthen the spine. When you exhale, see if you can gently twist a little bit more. We're not cranking ourselves. We're just feeling a nice stretch. There should not be any pain at all. If it's available to you, come down to your forearms and lower your head. Inhale, push your palms up, walk the hands in. When you get back to center, lift and inhale. Exhale, just do a nice counter stretch. You won't be able to go very far. That's not the point. We're just opening up the left side a little bit. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. We're straightening our legs. Before we do the other side, we're going to take a counter stretch. Inhale up high. Exhale, we're folding forward. When you can't go anymore, bring the palms down and just slowly start to let go, one muscle at a time. Try to let your jaw be loose. Relax the facial muscles. Take a few really deep breaths. On your exhales, you should notice that you sink lower without even trying. Relax your legs, even if it means your feet splay out to the sides. Take a full inhale. On the exhale, we're rolling up to center. The head is the last thing that comes upright. From here, we're turning our legs the opposite way. So now our left leg is bent behind us. We're staggered. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, turn towards the right with your core. Bring the arms down. Here we breathe. Everyone has a good and a bad side. My side is very tight, so I'm not turned very far, and there's a reason for it. But every time you inhale, think about lengthening the muscles. And every exhale, just kind of sink a little bit lower. Send your breath to those really tight places. On an exhale, if you're able, bring your forearms to the floor and try to release the head down. Inhale, push up on your palms, walk back to center. Lifting on an inhale. Exhale, straighten the legs in front of you. We're going to do another forward fold, except this time use support underneath your knees. Whether you roll up a blanket or place two blocks together or a bolster. We're going to do caterpillar. It's one of my favorites. Our legs are a little bit wider than hip width. Inhale deeply. On an exhale, we're just melting forward. Come down to however far you can, and this is where we wait. On an exhale, try to release one muscle at a time. Do a body scan. See what you're still holding on to. Check in with your breath. Take a few more deep inhales and exhales. Surrender to your body. Check in with your breathing again. Even just a few inhales and exhales really deeply here and there sprinkled in will still make a huge difference in the amount of release you get. All that sticky stuff in the body is fascia, and it builds up from repetitive motion, from sitting in the same postures all the time, standing posture, sleeping posture. Okay, on an exhale, nice and slow. We're rolling up. You're probably starting to feel some pops and clicks. That's good. So let's do some neck stretches. You can keep your legs however you want. Option to sit on your palms, but you don't have to. It just intensifies the stretch. On an exhale, let's bring right ear towards right shoulder. You're going to feel this on the left side. On an exhale, turn your head down. Slowly roll chin to chest. On an inhale, work your way left ear, left shoulder. Exhale, look down towards the floor. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release your hands. We're going to do a little bit of hip flexor opening. Your hip flexors are what brings you into the seated position. I don't know about you guys, but I've been doing a lot of sitting in front of the TV, and I was also working out in the yard, so that's like a lot of squatting and bending over. So mine are really tight. And what happens when the hip flexors get tight is it pulls the pelvis forward, which creates tension on the low back. And then it pulls everything else out of whack. So we're setting up ourselves a little platform. I want mine kind of high, so that's why I'm doubling up here. But you can just use a pillow, you can just use 2 blocks pushed together. But the goal here is to get it right below the pubic bone, right where the tops of the thighs start. So we're trying to do the opposite of sitting in a comfortable way. So it might take you a second to get situated, but we're trying to rest down and relax everything. So there should not be anything working.
Try bending your knees if you want, and maybe windshield wiping back and forth. It kind of massages the muscles a little bit. And it also stretches back here on the SI joint, like right where the sacrum and the iliac crest meet. And then just for a moment, try to get your knees wide and your feet together, but then unclench your butt and just maybe try to shift your weight forward a little bit so you're really getting the thighs to bend back. I'm just going to hold this for about a minute. All right, nice and slow. Bring the knees closer, release your feet. We're just gonna push up and over our props. And I recommend spreading out a blanket or some kind of extra padding onto your yoga mat for this next pose. So we're gonna turn sideways on the mat, and you can use support in front if you aren't able to get your forearms all the way to the floor. So this is frog. We're walking our knees really wide. Some people prefer to have their feet out. I like my feet together. But for the first minute or so, we're just gonna stay forward, and eventually we'll shift our hips back. So if you can't come down to your forearms on the floor, use some support. And the goal is to just wait, because this is like a really guarded area, obviously. So it's really tight. And so it's gonna take our body at least a minute to let go and stop fighting the stretch. So be patient with yourself and really focus on your breath and sending it to the tight muscles. All right, if you feel warm enough, send your hips back towards your heels. Maybe try to come a little lower on the floor. You don't have to. Try to rest your head. And check in with your breath. Take a super deep inhale. Push everything out. Let the ribs collapse down themselves. See if you can push back a little more. We've got about 1 more minute here. Deep inhale. On the exhale, nice and slow, come back to your hands and then just inch your legs closer together. That is a tough one to come out of. Sit back, give yourself a breather. That one is a very intense pose, but it's good for you. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of lunging now. So again, I recommend you pad your knee nice and thick. We'll start with our left knee bent back. Our right leg is coming forward. Also, you might need blocks. So we're really sinking in and opening up the front of the left hip here. So lunging in, but making sure that the right knee is protected by not crossing over the toes. So you can move your foot forward, like inch it forward if you need to sink deeper to open up the back leg. If you can't bring your hands to the floor, you can use blocks. So we'll just stay here. I am going to use blocks at first because I'm pretty locked up. So just breathe. Send your breath to the front of the left leg. As you feel your body start to warm up, like the muscles get warm and they feel like they can sink lower, try to move your props, adjust down. Try to sink a little lower. Do a body scan. Are you clenching anything that does not need to be working right now? I know it's an active pose, but try to relax whatever is not working. Take a full inhale. On the exhale, we're tucking our back toes and just shifting our weight back. So now we're stretching into the back of the right leg. You can move your palms back if you need. Try to keep your hips square, and then you'll really feel it come all the way up to the top of the hamstring. shift your weight forward again, except this time our palms are coming to the inside of our legs. So you want to walk your foot out a little wider, maybe to like to the edge of your mat, and sink down again. This is about as far as I can go today. If you are feeling flexible, you can go down to your forearms or on to the blocks on your forearms. So walk your foot out a little bit wider, the right foot, and come up on this edge of your foot. And if you're able, maybe just stretch using your right arm as leverage. Or open up the inside of the leg here. Inhale, walk the foot closer. We're sending it back. Let's just take a child's pose to counter. So you can do it with your knees together or they can be wide, whatever you need today. Rest down. You can stay here if you'd like. I'm gonna do a little bit of side stretching, so if you'd like, walk your palms over to one side and rest back down. If you're doing the side stretches, walk over to the opposite way and rest back down. Inhale, come back to center. Walk back up onto your knees. And this time the left leg's coming forward. Again, it might take you a minute to get the angle right. But we're sinking in, opening up the front of the right hip this time. Bring props if you need them. Untuck the back toes and sink in nice and slow. Send your breath to those hip flexors. We're trying to do the opposite of sitting. On the right side. If you're able to sink a little lower, you can adjust. On an exhale, we're shifting our weight back nice and slow. Walk your palms back a little, tuck the back toes on the right side, and try to sink into the hamstring on the left. All right, on an inhale, we're coming forward again, this time bringing your palms to the inside of your leg. And you might be able to come a little bit deeper. Untuck the back toes again. Just try to sink here. Walk the left foot out and tip it on the side. And if you need a little leverage, you can use your left arm to push the knee out some. Inhale, release, walk the toes in closer. We're shifting back. And from here, what do I think? We haven't done any shoulder openers, so that would probably be a good one. Let's do iron cross today.
So we lay down onto our stomachs and our arms are in a T. So you don't really need any equipment for this.
Your forehead is down, arms come out into a T, and on an exhale, we're using the right side of our body as leverage to push us over to the left.
So the goal is to open up the front of the left shoulder.
So you control how far you go. Like if this is as far you can go, then that's fine. If you're really flexible or if you need a good stretch, you can push a little harder. You can keep the right arm bent for support, or you can even fold that behind you to open up the front of the right shoulder. But even though this is active, try really hard to relax muscles that are not activated. On exhale, bring the right palm back to the mat. We're just gently coming back to center. You can lay here in reverse Shavasana for a couple of moments. Let's move to the other side so our arms come back out. And on an exhale, we're using the left side of our body as leverage to open the front of the right shoulder. And don't judge yourself if one arm is tighter than the other. You're going to notice a difference if you're a side sleeper and you tend to go to one side more than the other. If you get to the point where you don't feel it as much anymore because you're getting used to it, don't be afraid to shift around. And you can even like walk your palm up or down a little bit and it'll change the degree, like it'll change the angle of the stretch. All of these poses are supposed to feel relatively good. Nothing should be painful at all. On an exhale, bring the left palm back to the mat. We're scooting ourselves back in. Take another moment in reverse Shavasana.
nice and slow. Let's push up to hands and knees and take a prop at the top of your mat. Again, it can be 2 blocks. You don't have to use a prop. It just makes the stretch a little bit deeper and I think more comfortable. But we're coming down, we've done this before. So we're doing like a half puppy dog. Onto our elbows, the palms come together, the hips are in the air, and on an exhale, we're just trying to lower our forehead to our prop. And sink into the shoulder girdle. So we're trying to open up everything underneath the shoulders. And it's going to take your body a second to stop fighting you. On an exhale, slowly roll back. Just bring your elbows to the mat and the forearms down. So we're kind of in tabletop except our forearms are down. And on an exhale, just let your head relax so that it's hanging down. We're stretching right in the back of the neck and the base of the skull. Nice and slow, we're coming up to our palms just so that we can lie down. So we're coming to our backs. And bring support underneath your tailbone. Our feet come wide to the edges of our mat and our knees are coming together. So again, we're kind of opening up these hip flexors instead of sitting with our legs crunched. So we're just gonna hold here. can try windshield wiping your knees back and forth really slowly. With the feet wide like this, it makes it very dramatic and really stretches it up here in the hip flexors. Just be mindful of your knees. Like coming down this way, be careful the inside of your knee. So from here, we're gonna take our Shavasana. You can make it as comfortable as you'd like. I'm gonna push this bolster under my knees. It takes pressure off the low back if you tuck support under your knees. There we go. And just allow yourself this time to connect with your breath, to listen to what your body's trying to tell you, and to release anything that's on your mind that is no longer serving you. When you're ready, roll to one side and take a few breaths. Remember, you can always take as much time as you need for Shavasana. We will meet back at seated when you're ready. Close your eyes and bring your hands back to heart center. And thank yourself for doing something that's really good for your body and your mind. Taking the time out that you need. Your soul thanks you for it. And I thank you for watching these videos. Namaste. Thanks, guys.